right. So welcome to Auto Space Grotto. I'm here with Jason Adams. He just played some experimental cello for us. Really glad to have you.
Thanks. It's good to be here.
So what inspired you to start exploring experimental music?
Well, cello was my first instrument, and I started when I was fourth grade. So, I guess 9 years old or something like that. And I've kind of always been really passionate about music, and the music that I've listened to has always been kind of on the weirder side of things. And then in the past couple of years, I got a pickup for the cello because I'd kind of stopped, started playing it on and off more and more because it's harder and harder to convince me to sit down with box cello suites and just bust those out on a night off. But after getting the pickup and being really into electronic music and kind of being able to mangle sounds and really exploring sound design, being able to finally wed it with my first real introduction to playing music was a really big thing for me, and it's been a great development over time. Yeah,
Totally. Yeah, and it was really enjoyable to watch.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, how do you approach writing your music?
A lot of it kind of varies wildly based on which project it is. I'm also part of an electronic project called Choyas. And I also write music for film and TV occasionally. So some things are much more deliberate than others. For the cello stuff, it usually kind of comes out of a jam where I play around with a sound until the sound of that I've come into has kind of inspired the actual notes or the melodies or whatever it might be. It's kind of a lot of working backwards from that. And then I'll jam in an idea until something sticks and then kind of refine that. But a lot of this cello material, I have kind of these foundational moments or themes that I rely on, but the vast majority of it ends up being completely improvised on the spot too.
Okay.
So it's kind of a weird blend of refined improvisation and then added improvisation, so it's always kind of morphing over time, which keeps it really interesting for me.
That's great. So can you describe how you experience your music as you play it?
Ooh.
Yeah, because I know it can be different, like listening to music as opposed to playing it, and I'm curious to.
Yeah, that's a good question. Let's see. I think my experiencing music as I'm playing it, and probably especially because of the format of this kind of music, is a lot of kind of letting it. Maybe they're very similar in terms of playing versus listening, because there's a lot of letting it guide me as much as I can, kind of. To sound a little corny for a second, finding something to tap into and channel and let it kind of control what you're doing. And especially since I'm kind of trying to lean more and more towards minimalism as time goes on, as opposed to extravagant flowery phrasing, kind of listening and really paying attention to all the textures that are being created, and figuring out what one thing I can add or what thing I can change ever so slightly at a time in order to add to the piece as opposed to overwhelm it, I guess.
Yeah, I totally get that. And I've definitely noticed a lot of atmosphere, within, even if it's just a few notes, it's just there's a lot going on, and it's really it's really interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So you started Late Breakfast.
Yeah.
Can you talk a bit about that?
Sure. That's my baby of the last. It just turned 1 year old in November here in 2017.
I was there at the
Thank you.
Anniversary show.
Thanks for coming out. Yeah, it's a monthly experimental concert series that is kind of localized in downtown. We have a regular monthly show the second Sunday of every single month at a place called Ham and Eggs Tavern. And we're really trying to focus on giving a voice to local weird musicians and kind of keeping the genres intentionally vague. So it's an experimental music night, and we've seen everything from avant-garde jazz musicians to electronic to drone and noise and math rock and people doing weird blends of all of these things and putting it into one place. It's intensely curated. I'm not just slapping stuff together, but the breadth of stuff that we're able to bring in is kind of one of the things that I love about it so much. And we've started expanding to other venues. We did a successful show at the Smell in November, and one at a place called Rec Center, which you were at as well.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah,
Awesome
we're gonna.
shows.
Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna keep on doing it and pushing into 2018 is gonna be a really good year for Late Breakfast. I'm excited
Awesome.
for that.
I look forward to it. You should all definitely go to check out a show.
Yeah.
They're really, really special. Yeah, and is there anything else that you'd like to say to the world while you have their undivided attention?
Oh man. Let's see. Think for a second here. No, I'm just envisioning this as like a time capsule moment where I'm suddenly trapped in like my one legacy is whatever 3 sentences I say at this moment. The pressure is on. I guess my main thing is just continue to go out to shows and support local music and weird music. Always don't be afraid to question kind of what you're hearing and question whether you could be hearing something that you love even more than what's being flung at you from even really great radio stations to Spotify playlists to Apple Music, New Music Friday or anything like that. I had this great moment in my car the other day where 5 or 6 different tracks came on shuffle on my iPod, and every single one of them was like a friend or someone that we've booked, and kind of just being able to sit back and be like, I know so many incredibly talented people. And that was like a really special moment to me too. And just the idea of being able to constantly support those people is really important to me. And that's what you should be trying to do too.